Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, y'all. Another opportunity to either make money in the market or to just learn from the market, right? But let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues, y'all. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at the VIX. And as you can see, we've been trading in this little area here for pre-market for a while, right? So it looks like it was trying to break out of this area. The high as of now, pre-market high is 1251, and we came down and found support at this 5 EMA, which is a previous support line at 1249. So that's not surprising, right? So we just broke through that line to only find support at this 20 EMA. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. There we are. So the 20 EMA is our support, and the 50 EMA if we break that level. So where are our trouble places for the VIX to the upside and to the downside? So we know the 50 EMA right here at 1247, again at 1244, which is not far away, and at 1240. If we break the 1240 area, we could very well come back down to the 1236 or the 1233 area. Those are going to be trouble places for the VIX to the downside. Now, to the upside, if by chance it goes back to the upside, that means VIX up, SPY is down, right? So if we come and find support here and bounce back to the upside, know that if it breaks above 1251, we're going to have trouble here at 1254 and again at 1259, which brings us really close to the ATR trailing stop on this 30-minute chart at 1264. So I would say it can move in either direction today, up or down, right? So y'all know I always say trade carefully. Now let's go look at the SPY. All right, the SPY is it's interesting, right? So we've been trading in this zone here at this 556.65. It's interesting to hear that, 556, the SPY's reached a 556 level, right? So this 556.65 area, this is going to be a zone for us because as you can see, price has been moving, okay, in that direction, and it really hasn't, we hadn't made a new high, or we've just been consolidating or creating a gathering spot, as I like to say. And as you can see, the bottom of that line has already been created for us because here, it's finding support here at this 556.25 area. So 556.65, 556.25 is support. It brings us under the 5 EMA, as we can see here. We're under the 5 EMA, under the 20 EMA, finding support on this line here. Let me see if I can get rid of that little cursor thing. I'm trying to figure out what the world is wrong with my computer today, but we're going to work with it, right? So we're finding support at this line here. I did the same thing again. Okay, we're finding support at that line. If we should break, the area we have now as support as the 556.25, just know we're going to have trouble here at 555.78, which brings us to this ATR trailing stop at 555.57. So we have some trouble places to the downside. Now, can we continue climbing? Anything is possible in the market, y'all, so don't count it out. Don't think that, it's ran up, that, we could very well just come back down. It could also continue climbing. So allow your charts to give you direction. And, I always say trade what you see. So where are our trouble places as of now? If we should break this 555.57, which is not far from the 50 EMA or the ATR trailing stop, just know that we're going to have trouble here at 552.87 and again at 552.45. If we break the 552.45, there's going to be trouble here at 551.84 and 551.61, 551.61, 551.84. That was a previous gathering spot. That's why those lines are so close together, those gray lines. So, and we are breaking where we are, we were holding as support. So I would say just trade carefully today. It looks like it could very well come back down and test this 555.77. So if you trade the SPY, y'all know I always say trade careful. We'll come back to that, right? Now, Tesla is interesting as always. Tesla made a high yesterday of 259.44, right? So, and it traded in this zone here, the high of 259.81 and the low of 258.22, and it looks as if, we came up, tested, got rejected, and came back down. It seemed like Tesla has been just trading in this zone here, right? So I'm going to try to make that a little bit bigger so we can see. As of now, our ATR trailing stop, it's finding support right there at the ATR trailing stop, which is right at the 50 EMA And the 5 EMA is our resistance as of now, which is a previous support or resistance line at 251.07. So between 251.07 and 250.32, that is the range that Tesla is trading as of now, pre-market, right? So are we going to break, and continue back to the upside, or are we going to drop beyond where we are now, right? So we closed at 252.94, and as of now, it has made a low of 250.36. So it looks like we're declining just a little bit from where it closed. So where are our trouble places for Tesla? Let's look to the downside, right? So to the downside, if we break where we are, which is this ATR trail, and stop under the 250.35, we will have trouble at 248.35, and again at 246.94, 243.83, and 239.49. Those are going to be trouble places to the downside for Tesla. 243.83, okay, and then at 239.49. Okay, I had to say that again because it's like, okay, we were just at 258. So how, that's, y'all, in this regard, my charts for Tesla as of right now, I will go back and clean those up. But just know, if by chance we break above this 252.15 area, which was a resistance area, it then becomes our support. We could very well come back up and retest this area of 254.32. And then we can retest this area here of the 258.22 back up to the 259.44. So those are going to be trouble places for Tesla to the upside and to the downside. Again, y'all, I always say trade carefully. Do not rush into your trades, and make sure you have confirmation as to why you're entering your trades. It looks like Tesla is coming off of a high, and we're just creating a gathering spot, and it's going to give us a move. It's going to give us a signal. We just have to wait on that signal, right? So let's go to NVIDIA. All right, NVIDIA is moving. It looks like this will be our 4 o'clock area here. Our gathering spot will be here at 129.85 as resistance, and support is here at 129.52. And if by chance we break above this area of resistance above, which we have, we have broken above that 129.84, we are having trouble here at 130.34. That right now is our resistance, and our support is a previous resistance area, which is now our support at 129.99. So between 129.99 and 130.35, NVIDIA is having some trouble in that area. Now, we are above the 5 EMA. It looks like the moving averages, everything is fanned to the upside. So are we going up? It's a question. That's something to be mindful of. But again, y'all, anything is possible when the bell rings, right? So as of now, we're going to say that 5 EMA, that 130.01 is going to be our support area. If we break below that, we could very well have trouble and come back to the downside. So where are our trouble places to the upside, right? So because it looks like that's the direction that it's trying to go. However, we can have some trouble along the way. So 130.56, if we break this area of 130.35, 130.56, and then again at 130.77, again at 131.18, and 131.81. Those are going to be trouble places for us for NVIDIA as of right now. Now to the downside, if we again break under where we are now, under that 130, just know that we're going to have trouble at 129.53, and again at 129.16, which is right at the 20 EMA, and we're definitely going to have some trouble at the 128.55 and the 128.41. That was a previous gathering spot for us. So it's really close to the ATR trailing stop in the 50 EMA at 128.17. So if I traded NVIDIA today, I would say just be careful, right? It looks like it wants to go to the upside. However, anything is possible, right? We just know that we're going to have trouble above, and there's support, resistance above and support below. So again, y'all, this is a prime example of trade what you see and not rush into your trades, right? So we are looking now at AMD, and AMD made a high of 179.97, which is interesting, right? So right now, that would be our gathering spot here at the 179.97 area. We've broken out of that support area at 179.24. So 179.24, 179.97 is resistance and support for AMD. And we came down, broke through. We're under the 5 EMA. It came down, broke through the 20 EMA. only to break, find support here at this ATR trail and stop at 176.77. Are we coming out of this to the downside? That's something to be mindful of, right? So it can move in either direction, and it looks like we're breaking out of a gathering spot to the downside based on the way that the moving averages are looking. But again, and y'all know I always say anything is possible, right? So where are our trouble places for AMD? So if we break where we are now, which is 177.01, we tested that. If we come back to this area, just know that we're going to have trouble at 176.70, 175.86, and 173.10. Those are going to be trouble places for us for AMD to the downside. If we break that 173.10, just know we're going to have trouble at 169.54 and again at 168.61, which brings us to the 200 EMA, looking at it on this 30-minute chart at 167.66. Those are going to be trouble places to the downside. So let's see if we can find to the upside. We will need to get back above the 5 EMA, above 178.84, and we need to break above 179.50 and again at 179.92, which brings us back to the 179.97. And AMD normally moves about $6.41 per day. Again, that's in either direction. It can move up or down in that amount, and sometimes most exceed that amount. Tesla is a prime example of that, right? So I always say, y'all, again, I can't say it enough, trade what you see and do not rush into your trades. Now, we do have some inside day candles for today, and Google is one of those, GOOG. Now, I will just give the triggers for that, meaning if it breaks above this, then this is the target, or if it breaks below this, then this is the downside target, right? So Google, if it breaks above 191.76, then 192.56 is the target. To the downside, if it breaks under 189.24, the downside target is 187.23. And as you can see, we are creating a gathering spot here with pre-market support at 190.84. and resistance at 191.06. So that is our zone that we're trading in as of now, and it can move in either direction, right? So Google normally moves about $3.18 per day, again in either direction. So if you trade Google today, it is an inside day and it moves about $3 per day, $3.14. So GOOGL is also an inside day candle. If it breaks above 190.28, 191.32 is the target. If it breaks under 187.74, the downside target is 185.73, which is under the 200 EMA. So that's something to be mindful of with Google. Microsoft is also an inside day candle, and we're very close to the trigger. If it breaks above 467.94, then the target is 468.55, which is really close to the ATR trail and stop at 469.08. So that's something to be mindful of. Even though this is the target, we could very well come here and get rejected, right, for Microsoft. Now, to the downside, if by chance we break under where we are now, then 464.38 is the trigger to the downside. If it breaks under that, we could very well come back and retest this 458.79 area, which is our target to the downside. So I always say, y'all, don't rush, just wait. And Microsoft normally moves $6.38 per day on average, and right now it is trading in a gathering spot. The pre-market support is around the 467.08, and the resistance area is right here at 467.51. So right now it's trading in that zone, but we are close again, to the trigger to the upside. I would say trade carefully. If I traded Microsoft today, y'all, Netflix used to be one of my favorites. So Netflix is an inside day candle for today. And Netflix, if it breaks above, which we have, 689.26, then we have an upside target of 697.68. Just know we are going to have trouble at the 692.45 area, which is the ATR trail and stop. So, we have made a pre-market high as far as 691.60, which is interesting. We broke out of that. We've already broken through the trigger above the 5 EMA, so that's something to be mindful of. Just know the target to the upside for Netflix is 697.68. Now, if by chance we break under, the 685.38, 685.39 area, if we come back down to that area, just know that 681.41 is the trigger to the downside. If we break below that, 677.11 is the downside target for Netflix. And Netflix normally moves about $13.31 per day. Netflix is interesting. I say that often, y'all. So I always say, y'all, be careful with your trades. If you get in at the right time and out at the right time, it's a decent profit, right? It's just sometimes knowing when to get in and when to get out. So NEO is also an inside day candle above $4.61 gives us a target of $4.75. Below $4.44 gives us a target of $4.40. And NEO normally moves about 25 cents per day. So if you trade NEO, I always say trade carefully, and I will definitely watch those levels. SHOP, SHOP, Shopify is an inside day candle above 67.81 gives us a target of 68.07. Below 66.94 gives us a target of 66.33, which is right at this 200 EMA, looking at it on this 30-minute chart. And SHOP normally moves $1.84 per day, right? Again, in either direction. So UAL, United Airlines, is also an inside day candle. If it breaks above 47.74, then 48.47 is the target. Now to the downside, which it looks like where we're headed, $46.70 is the, if it breaks below that, then 46.48 is the target to the downside. It looks like we're trying to break to the downside. Just know pre-market support is at 46.88 and resistance at 46.96. So yeah, we have a few inside day candles, and yeah, I always say y'all trade carefully and trade what you see. We're going to go back to the SPY just to see where we are. It looks as if SPY is just holding right here at this 556.25. That's an area of support for us, and we're just trading in that area. That's our zone. I always say the no trade zone, right? So this is our area of waiting to see which direction, if it's going to move to the upside or to the downside. Just know we are going to have trouble here again at the 550, 557, and there's a few other places on down, but 554.60 again here at 554.27. We gonna have trouble at 553.81. Those are places that could bring us back to 552.87. So those are places to the downside for the SPY that we could possibly come back to and retest those areas, or we can continue to the upside. But don't rush. Wait on your trade and allow, make sure you have confirmation as to why you're entering. And once it goes against your why, get out. I can't say that enough. So y'all, I hope these videos are very, very helpful. I always say I hope that everyone have a very profitable day and a very productive day today. And I always like to leave you with this, y'all. Be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.